Your brain is lying to you. Right now. About everything. Not maliciously. Systematically. Through cognitive biases. Mental shortcuts evolution built for survival. That now sabotage every decision. Every judgment. Every conclusion. You think you're rational. You're not. You're a biological organism running outdated software in modern environment. The mismatch creates predictable errors. Documented errors. Universal errors. These aren't character flaws. They're architectural limitations, built into human cognition. Understanding them doesn't eliminate them, but awareness reduces their control. This is cognitive psychology, applied to your life. Drop this if you're ready. I recognize the biases controlling my decisions. These biases exist for reasons. Evolutionary reasons. Speed over accuracy. Pattern recognition over careful analysis. Energy conservation over thorough investigation. When ancestors faced predator, thinking carefully meant death. Acting fast meant survival. You're descended from the fast actors, not the careful thinkers. This serves you poorly in modern world. No predators, but brain still optimizes for speed, still takes shortcuts, still produces systematic errors. Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman spent 50 years documenting these biases, proving they exist, proving they're universal, proving awareness helps but doesn't cure. Today you're learning 9 most destructive biases and methods to reduce their impact. Let's begin. Bias 1. Confirmation bias makes you seek information confirming what you already believe. Not information that's accurate, information that's confirming. Your brain is not truth-seeking device. It's consistency-maintaining device. You believe something, brain finds supporting evidence, ignores contradicting evidence. This happens automatically, unconsciously, constantly. You think you change beliefs based on evidence. Actually, you selected evidence based on beliefs. The belief came first. Evidence came second. Selected to confirm. Examples everywhere. Political beliefs. You read news sources confirming your politics. Ignore sources contradicting. Stock investments. You research reasons your stock will rise. Ignore warnings it will fall. Relationship decisions. You notice partner's good qualities when deciding to commit. Notice bad qualities when deciding to leave. Same person. Different selective attention. Different conclusion. All confirmation bias. Studies prove this repeatedly. Give people same evidence. Those who believe X find support for X. Those who believe opposite find support for opposite. Same evidence. Different interpretations. Because brain seeks confirmation, not truth. Override method. Actively seek disconfirming evidence. Not just confirming. Force yourself to read opposing viewpoints. Ask, what evidence would prove me wrong? Then seek that evidence specifically. Uncomfortable. Necessary. Your brain won't do this naturally. You must force it deliberately. Affirmation. I actively seek disconfirming evidence. Bias 2. Availability heuristic makes you judge probability by what's mentally available, not by actual statistics. By what comes to mind easily. Plane crash on news? Aviation feels dangerous. Thousands of safe flights? Not mentally available. Brain overweights dramatic. Underweights routine. Car crashes kill far more people than plane crashes. You fear planes more than cars, because plane crashes get coverage. Car crashes don't. Mental availability determines perceived risk, not actual risk. This affects every risk judgment you make. Terrorist attacks. Dramatic, covered extensively, mentally available. You overestimate terrorism risk. Heart disease. Mundane, barely covered, mentally unavailable. You underestimate heart disease risk. Heart disease kills infinitely more Americans than terrorism. Your fear is inverted because availability bias. Lottery winners. Dramatic, publicized, mentally available. You overestimate winning odds. Lottery losers. Billions of them, not publicized, mentally unavailable. You underestimate losing odds. Expected value negative. But availability bias makes lottery seem reasonable. It's not. Override method. Look up actual statistics. Don't trust your intuition about probability. Your brain uses availability, not accuracy. When making risk decisions, check base rates. Check actual numbers. Ignore mental availability. Trust statistics, not feelings. Statistics reflect reality. Feelings reflect availability. Different things. Affirmation. I check statistics, not intuition. Bias 3. Anchoring bias makes first number you hear disproportionately influence all subsequent judgments. Even when first number is arbitrary. Even when you know it's arbitrary. Real estate agent shows expensive house first? Anchors your expectations high. Target house seems reasonable by comparison. Same house shown first? Seems expensive. The anchor determines perception. Salary negotiations. First number stated anchors entire negotiation. Whoever states first number advantageously sets anchor. Retail pricing. Original price crossed out. Sale price shown. Even if original price was artificial, anchor established. Sale price seems valuable relative to anchor. Studies prove anchoring's power. Experiment. Ask people to write last 2 digits of Social Security number. Then ask them to estimate various quantities. People with high digits estimate higher quantities. People with low digits estimate lower quantities. Arbitrary anchor. Still influences. Even experts aren't immune. Judges given different sentencing recommendations? Sentences track recommendations. Recommendations were random. Still anchor judgment. This bias affects negotiations, purchases, estimates, judgments, everything involving numbers. Always. Override method. Set your anchor before seeing theirs. In negotiations, state your number first when advantageous. When you can't, consciously reject their anchor. Calculate independently. Don't let first number influence disproportionately. Mentally reset. Start fresh. Difficult but possible. Affirmation. I set my anchors independently. Bias 4. Sunk cost fallacy makes you continue failing endeavors because of past investment. Rational decision. Evaluate only future costs and future benefits. Ignore past. It's gone regardless. Emotional reality. Can't ignore sunk costs. Quitting feels like wasting investment. So you continue. Throwing good money after bad. Good time after bad. This bias destroys businesses, relationships, careers, projects, everything requiring quit or continue decisions. Movie theater, 30 minutes in. Movie terrible. Rational choice, leave. Save 90 minutes. Emotional response, but I paid $15. $15 gone regardless. Sitting through bad movie doesn't recover it. But sunk cost fallacy keeps you watching. Bad relationship, 3 years invested. Rational choice, if partner wrong, leave. Emotional response, but I invested 3 years. 3 years gone regardless. Continuing bad relationship doesn't recover them. But sunk cost fallacy keeps you staying. Failing business, invested $50,000. Losing money monthly. Rational choice, close business. Stop losses. Emotional response, but I invested $50,000. Money gone regardless. Continuing losses doesn't recover it. But sunk cost fallacy keeps business open. Override method. When making continue or quit decision, deliberately ignore sunk costs. Ask only, what will future cost? What will future return? If future costs exceed future returns, quit. Regardless of past investment. Past is past. Future is all that matters economically. Your emotions will scream. Your logic must override. Affirmation. I ignore sunk costs in decisions. Bias 5. Dunning-Kruger effect makes incompetent people overestimate competence. Competent people underestimate competence. Why? Incompetent people don't know what they don't know. They lack metacognition, lack ability to assess their ability. So they overestimate. Competent people see complexity, see gaps in knowledge, see what experts know that they don't. So they underestimate. This is documented across every domain. Driving, intelligence, social skills, professional abilities. Pattern repeats. Worst performers think they're above average. Best performers think they're average. Surveys prove this. 90% of drivers rate themselves above average. Mathematically impossible, but psychologically common. Why? Bad drivers don't know what good driving looks like. Can't assess their badness. Overestimate. Good drivers see skilled drivers. Compare themselves. Underestimate. Business. Failed entrepreneurs were most confident before failure. Successful entrepreneurs expressed most doubt. Confidence inversely correlated with competence. Not because competence reduces confidence, because competence reveals complexity. Complexity induces appropriate humility. Override method. If you feel extremely confident, question yourself. You might be incompetent. If you feel uncertain, you might be competent. Seek external feedback. Ask experts to assess you. Your self-assessment is unreliable. This bias is hardest to detect in yourself because it's about inability to assess ability. You can't see what you can't see. External feedback, essential. Affirmation, I seek external assessment of my competence. Bias 6, hindsight bias makes past seem more predictable than it was. I knew that would happen. No, you didn't. You think you did. After knowing outcome, brain rewrites memory, makes outcomes seem inevitable. This bias prevents learning from mistakes. Because if outcome was predictable, you weren't wrong. You just didn't act on obvious information. Reality, outcome wasn't predictable. You were wrong. Admitting this enables learning. Hindsight bias prevents admission. Financial crisis of 2008. After, everybody saw it coming. Before, almost nobody positioned for it. After knowing outcome, brain makes it seem obvious. Of course, housing prices couldn't rise forever. Before outcome, not obvious at all. Sports games, after knowing score, outcome seems predictable. Before game, uncertainty was real. Your memory of pre-game uncertainty? Rewritten by hindsight bias. Now seems obvious which team would win. Wasn't obvious then. Override method. Before making predictions, write them down. Specifically, with confidence levels. After outcome, review your predictions. Don't trust your memory of what you predicted. You'll misremember. Written record prevents hindsight bias from rewriting history. Shows you what you actually thought before knowing outcome. Enables real learning. Affirmation, I document predictions before outcomes. Bias 7, in-group bias makes you favor your group over other groups. Automatically, unconsciously, constantly. Any group, political party, sports team, nationality, race, religion, company, friend circle. Arbitrary groups too. Studies assign people to groups randomly. Red team versus blue team. No real difference. Immediately, in-group bias forms. People favor their team. Disfavor other team. No rational basis. Pure tribalism. This bias causes discrimination, conflict, war. Everything tribal in human behavior. Minimal group paradigm experiments prove this. Assign people to groups by coin flip. Ask them to allocate resources. They favor their group. Discriminate against other group. Group assignment was meaningless. Bias formed anyway. Sports teams. Fans irrationally support their team. Ignore evidence of poor performance. Exaggerate evidence of good performance. Other team? Opposite. Ignore good performance. Exaggerate poor performance. Same evidence. Different interpretation. Because in-group bias. Politics, your party's policies? Supported by evidence. Other parties' policies? Contradicted by evidence. Same think tanks. Same economists. Different conclusions. Depending which team you're on. Override method. When evaluating people or ideas, consciously note their group. Then force yourself to evaluate evidence independently of group membership. Is this person right because of their argument? Or because they're in my group? Is other person wrong because of their argument? Or because they're in different group? Separate evidence from tribalism. Extremely difficult. Essential. Affirmation. I evaluate evidence, not tribal membership. Bias 8. Recency bias makes you overweight recent events. Underweight distant events. Even when distant events more relevant. Stock market rises 3 days? Feels like uptrend. Ignore previous year of volatility. Last 3 days mentally available. Previous year mentally distant. Recency bias makes recent seem representative. Usually isn't. Weather 3 hot days. Climate is changing. Ignore 30 years of data. 3 days recent. 30 years distant. Recency bias distorts climate perception. Same with cold days. 3 cold days? Where's global warming? Ignoring century of temperature data. Job performance. Employee performs well last month? Seems like good employee. Ignore previous year of mediocrity. Last month recent. Previous year distant. Promotion decisions distorted by recency bias. Investment decisions. Stock rose last week? Seems like good investment. Ignore 5-year decline. Last week recent. 5 years distant. Purchases driven by recency, not fundamentals. Override method. When making decisions based on patterns, consciously examine longer time frames. Ask, what's the pattern over 1 year? 5 years? 10 years? Not just last week. Recent period might be anomaly. Longer period shows true pattern. Resist temptation to extrapolate from recent events. Recency bias makes this tempting. Resist anyway. Affirmation. I examine long-term patterns, not recent events. Bias 9. Survivorship bias makes you study successes while ignoring failures, producing completely wrong conclusions. Famous example, World War II. Planes returning from combat had bullet holes in certain areas. Military wanted to armor those areas. Statistician Abraham Wald said no. Armor the areas with no bullet holes. Why? Planes you're examining survived. Bullet holes in areas that don't cause crashes. Areas with no bullet holes? That's where fatal hits occur. Those planes didn't return. You're not seeing them. Armoring damaged areas? Useless. Armoring undamaged areas? Saves planes. Survivorship bias almost caused opposite decision. Business advice. Study successful entrepreneurs. Learn their habits. Morning routines. Productivity methods. Survivorship bias problem. You're ignoring failed entrepreneurs. They had same habits. Different outcome. Correlation without causation. Success books. Billionaire wakes at 5 a.m. Wake at 5 a.m. to succeed? Millions wake at 5 a.m. Didn't become billionaires. You're studying survivors. Ignoring failures. Music industry. Study successful musicians. Never give up. Survivorship bias. Ignoring millions who never gave up. Still failed. For every success who persisted, thousands who persisted into poverty. Override method. When studying success patterns, actively seek failure data. What percentage succeeded using this method? What percentage failed using same method? If failure rate high, method doesn't cause success. Success causes visibility of method. Different causation. Study base rates. Study failures. Study non-survivors. Only then can you identify what actually matters. Affirmation. I study failures as closely as successes. You've learned 9 cognitive biases sabotaging your decisions. Confirmation bias. Availability heuristic. Anchoring bias. Sunk cost fallacy. Dunning-Kruger effect. Hindsight bias. In-group bias. Recency bias. Survivorship bias. None of these are character flaws. All are architectural features of human cognition. Evolved for survival. Now causing systematic errors. In every domain. Every decision. Every judgment. Always operating. With or without your awareness. Understanding these biases doesn't eliminate them. Kahneman studied biases 50 years. Still falls victim to them. Awareness helps. Doesn't cure. Because biases are automatic. Unconscious. Fast. Your conscious override is slow. Effortful. Requires deliberate attention. Most decisions made without conscious override. So biases win most of the time. But aware person catches some biases. Reduces some errors. Makes marginally better decisions. Over lifetime, marginal improvements compound significantly. The alternative, lifetime of systematic errors. Predictable mistakes. Irrational decisions. The unaware life. The biased life. The error-prone life. You now have choice. Awareness or ignorance. Override or automation. Rationality or bias. Choose awareness. Choose override. Choose rationality. Think deeper. Feel less. Know more. This is the hidden mindset.